Hello, beautiful people, and welcome. In today's video, we are graphing quadratic functions. Now, in this video, we are focusing on intercept form. We have done the original lesson, and today we're just going through two separate examples on how to graph a quadratic equation given in intercept form. I will be referring to some steps mentioned in that video, so if you haven't watched that video, go ahead and do so prior to watching this one. All right, beautiful people, let's go ahead and get started. Step number one is to find your x-intercept. So to find your x-intercepts, if you're in my class, you do not need to show me work for this, but what you're doing is you're taking each bubble. There's one bubble here, there's one bubble here, and you are setting each bubble equal to 0. Now again, if you're in my class, you do not need to show me work for this, as you'll notice there's going to be a pattern to it, which is going to be opposite of what you see. So if I see a +3, your x value is going to be opposite that, which is going to give you a -3. If you see a -1, when you solve it, it's going to give you a +1. Now these are your x-intercept. Now, if you're in my class, make sure you are aware that an x-intercept is a point. So we're going to write them here as an actual value. So I have -3, 0. I have 1, 0. Those are my 2 points. Now, step number 2 is to find the axis of symmetry. To find the axis of symmetry, we are going to take our P and our Q values. Now, P and Q, if you take a look at the original equation, they are without that minus. The easiest way to know what your P and Q values are, think opposite of what you see for both of those. So, for example, we have a +3, so that means P is -3, and I see a -1, that means Q is a +1. So again, think opposite of what you see. So step number 2 is to find the axis of symmetry. So x is equal to P plus Q divided by 2. So we have -3 plus 1 divided by 2. -3 plus 1 is a -2. We still need to divide by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. I have one negative left over. This is our x value. So this is the axis of symmetry. Step number 3 is to find the vertex point. To find the vertex point, we are using this axis of symmetry x value into our original equation. So our original equation is 2 times x plus 3 times x minus 1. So in place of x, I'm going to write the x value that we have solved for the axis of symmetry. So in this case, our x value was a -1. So I have -1 plus 3 and -1 minus 1. And we're going to continue solving that. So I have 2 times -1 plus 3, that is a +2. And then here I have -2. This is not an addition. This is just me notating that this was positive. So I have 2 times a -2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8 with 1 minus. So I have a -8 as my y value. Now again, what is that purpose of solving for that y value? That is our vertex point. So our vertex is going to be our x value here, which is -1, and our y value here, which is -8. Now looking at our leading term or a leading coefficient, which is 2, 2 is positive, so therefore you know for the quadratic, it's going to be a u that is going to be pointing upward because it is an increasing function since 2 is positive. Let's go ahead and sketch this out. Looks like I already pre-drawn my y-axis here, so let's go ahead and just add an x-axis. Start off by indicating where your x-intercepts are. So I have a -3, 1, 2, 3. Now again, these are going to be on your x-axis. And I have a 1. Your axis of symmetry is at -1. So here's -1. I'm going to do a vertical line here. Your vertex will be on that axis of symmetry point, and that is at -8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. -8 should be around here-ish. And you are done. You're going to simply connect. Now, again, be very mindful of what your graph's going to look like. Make sure that if you're graphing a quadratic equation, that your overall shape is a smooth U. And it has arrows. Let's do that one more time with question number 2. I'm going to shift this page forward. All right, question number 2 is -1/2 times x plus 2 times x minus 4. Let me zoom in here just slightly so that way you guys can see a little bit better. And there it is. All right, step number 1 is to identify what your x-intercepts are. Again, take your bubble. Take your bubble. You don't have to show me work. In this case, x is -2. In this case, x is +4. Again, it's opposite of what you see. That means I have a point at -2, 0, and I have my second point at 4, 0. I am going to find out what the axis of symmetry is. So x is equal to p plus q divided by 2. Again, p and q are both opposite of what you see. So p is -2, q is 4. Again, opposite of what we see inside of the equation. So that means I have -2 plus 4 divided by 2. -2 plus 4 is +2 divided by 2. That means 1. That means my axis of symmetry is at x equals 1. Taking my original equation, which is -1/2 times x plus 2 times x minus 4, I'm going to plug in that x value in for the placement of x. So I have, let's shift it here, I have -1/2 times, and I'm just going to leave spaces for my x values, and I'm going to go back in and write them in, which is a 1. So I have -1/2 times 2 plus 1 is 3 times 1 minus 4 is -3. So here I have a -1/2 times 3 times -3. I just rewrote that. I just realized I didn't actually solve anything there. So I have 3 times 3 is 9. So I have -9 times -1/2. And it's okay to leave it as an improper fraction, so I'm going to have a +9/2 as my y value. Now again, it is a fraction. That's okay. Fractions want to be loved as well. So our vertex is at x is 1 and y is 9/2. If you wish to convert that to a mixed number, you can. So that would be 2 times 4 is 8, so that means 4 and 1/2, if it's easier to graph that way. All right, let's go ahead and sketch it out. That's all we need. Here's some space here, so I'm going to shift this down. Alrighty, so let's start with our 2 x-intercepts. I have an intercept at -2. I have an intercept at 1, 2, 3, +4. My axis of symmetry is at 1, so here's 1. And my vertex point was at 1 and 4.5. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 4.5 is about here. Now it does look like I'm going to be going downward, and that should be good because if we look here at our our a value is negative. Therefore, we should have a decreasing function. And we are having a quadratic, so our quadratic is going to be in the shape of a U. Make sure you have arrows pointing downward. And that is it for Intercept 4. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!